Well, I've been covering Operation Choke Point 2.0, which is the targeting of the crypto community, a lot on this show because control over money is one of the biggest topics we could possibly cover. Controlling money is how governments can control us. They can cut off dissenters, like what they did with the trucker convoy in Canada. They can cut off anyone they deem to be terrorists, which seems to be nearly anyone angry against the government these days. They can control our purchases to deal with what they call existential threats like climate change. Now, many of you may not be in the crypto community or even like it, but the targeting of the community gives us insight into what the government is doing. It shows us how they can take out industries, how they intend to maintain control over the money supply, how they intend to roll out their own form of centralized digital currency that they can then monitor us through. It is, in my view, one of the biggest stories currently out there, at the same level as the pandemic and possible World War III. If they can control the money, and worse yet, monitor the money, they can control the people. Well, another indicator of Choke Point 2.0 happened the other day. US regulators have their sights set on Binance, the largest crypto exchange in the world, and its CEO, Zhangpeng Zhao, also known as CZ. Now, regulators are suing them in what is seen as the most significant US enforcement action against the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. So with us now to help us understand how this all connects to Choke Point 2.0 is Mario Nafal, serial entrepreneur and founder of IBC Group, a blockchain consulting company, and the host of the largest spaces on Twitter. Mario, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So a lot of people don't really fully understand the crypto exchange community, the really crypto in general. But if you could walk us through Binance, like what is Binance and what is this new targeting? They're being sued by the U.S. By commodity market regulators in a complaint that the defendants committed willful evasion of U.S. law. So can you explain this to us? And is this part of Choke Point 2.0?
So the concept of choke point 2.0, it's hard to deny its existence considering what's happened over the last few months. Now I'm going to list out just to give you an idea of what crypto has gone through, and the fact that crypto is where it is today and still vibrant, investments coming in is a testament to the value that it brings. I'll give you an idea. So the SEC, there was a lawsuit against Paxos, which has the BUSD the stable coin. SEC targets Kraken, another exchange that does the right thing, very well respected. Gary Gensler labels all crypto security. Then we have the Senate committee holds a hearing on BTC environmental impact. There's Biden's bill that targets crypto miners. You got the New York Attorney General declares Ether security. The SEC, that's all in the last few months. The SEC blocks, again, the Bitcoin ETF. Silvergate collapses. We all know about that. Court blocks Binance from buying Voyager. That happened a few weeks ago. The OCC lets crypto bank trust charter application expire. Coinbase gets an SEC Wells notice, and we've got a bunch of influencers that were targeted by the SEC, which I think is a good thing in that case, in most cases. Now, Binance is almost the last big player left standing after we saw what happened with FTX, after we saw what happened with DCG, and now we've got Binance and maybe Tether. These are the two big guys that are left standing. And I heard, we covered it in my last show, we had sources tell us that Tether could be the next target. Now, why is this so major? Well, Binance represents 90-something% of 80, 90%, I can't remember what the number is, of volume. It absorbed all the trading volume from other exchanges when FTX collapsed. Similar to when you have smaller banks that, when they failed, all the money went through to the big four. In the crypto market, because I was covering the FTX story, we were watching all the money go out of exchanges because everyone got scared when FTX collapsed and no one knew who the next one is. So money went out of the exchanges, and then a few weeks later, even days later, started going into Binance as the one that everyone trusts. And now we've got these allegations against Binance. Number one, it's not a surprise. Many of us in the space saw it coming. What is surprising is the evidence they have. They even have access to CZ's phone based on the documents. I went through it briefly. They have access to CZ's phone, CZ's messages. And there's instances where CEO, CZ, who's the CEO of Binance, he intentionally tries to hide the fact he's accepting money from US citizens. He intentionally, or his CFO, knowingly accepts money or accepts Hamas to use their platform. Hamas, which is considered a terrorist group by the US. So these are very serious allegations. They have the evidence, but at the same time, it comes at a very interesting time. It's like in the last 6 months, especially since FTX, crypto's just been punched in the face day after day, nonstop. Is that an effort by regulators to choke Bitcoin and crypto for in preparation for the central backed digital currencies? Could be. The day that Silicon Valley failed, that's the day that CBDCs were mentioned, I think, for the first time. So we're seeing a concerted effort to harm crypto, but I don't want to immediately blame it on intentionally being nefarious, regulators being nefarious, because at the same time we screwed up, Kim. Like the crypto industry, and again, I've been in the crypto space for a long time. Most of my companies are in the Web3 crypto space, and the the amount of messing around that we've done, highlighted by what happened with FTX, but there's other things that happened prior to FTX with Luna. Do Kwon got arrested a few days ago in Montenegro, out of all places. Just shows that we're not innocent either. We're not like that innocent industry that just got targeted out of nowhere and we've been doing the right thing. We messed up. We messed up bad, and I know this because I've been covering it live and seeing the stuff and seeing all the evidence. People send me the evidence, so I know how much the industry messed up.
So, did the industry mess up to a point where it is a death sentence for the industry? Because it does seem like the targeting with Choke Point 2.0 is very much a really trying to collapse the crypto industry entirely to roll out those CBDCs. So, is this something that is really truly an attempt to collapse the industry or just clean up the industry?
That's what we're about to see. I hope it's the latter. This is a good thing because the industry is very broad. There's You can't put stable coins in the same basket as Bitcoin, in the same basket as startups innovating. I think regulators will not want to harm startups that are innovating in the tech industry, which includes crypto. Startups that are building decentralized games, that are building DeFi applications. I think, in my opinion, those will not be harmed. Now, I could be proven wrong, as I always have been. I don't think they're like Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is proven to be the like they've kind of proved the value of Bitcoin with everything that's happening. And I did a few shows this in the last couple of months, and I called one of them the Ode to Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin guys have always said, guys, I know you could do a lot of things with the blockchain and with crypto. I know there's a lot of applications, but the one that matters is Bitcoin. Bitcoin being a store of value. Let's not be distracted by all the other use cases. Michael Saylor said this. There's one thing that matters the most, and let's just put all our efforts for Bitcoin to be a store of value. And that's proven to be a very important use case now, even in the US. When you've got banks failing, we saw Bitcoin go up from 24, 26 to 28, 29, whatever it is today, in a few days. So Bitcoin was born in 2008 in the midst of the global financial crisis. People are comparing what we're going through and what we went through to the global financial crisis. Hopefully the contagion doesn't continue, but it could. And that is a testament to the use case of Bitcoin. And then you've got stable coins. They don't seem to like stable coins. I mentioned BUSD getting targeted and it lost half of its market cap. USDC, we saw Silvergate get hit, but they haven't. If they target Tether, and we see what happens with USDC, these are the two big. There's no one else. These are the two big players that are left. BUSD is very small now because it's already been targeted and it lost a big market cap. If those get targeted, it's hard to deny the existence of Choke Point 2.0 and the focus on central backed digital currencies.
Can you tell us what is a stable coin versus any other type of crypto?
It's a good question. A stablecoin is designed to be stable. Now, many might ask, like, Mario, what's the point of having a stablecoin? Isn't the point of crypto is that you invest and you make money? Well, number one, crypto's making money is a small aspect of crypto that many people love, but it's definitely not the exciting use case of the technology. Now, stable coins are stable for that exact reason. There's value in stability. There's a reason people invest in treasuries. There's value in having a stable asset. And the biggest value is being able to transfer value, transfer wealth. So if you want to move money from one exchange to another, you use stable coins. So stable coins is what allows liquidity to come into the market. So whenever you want to go into a coin, want to go into Bitcoin, you go from stable coins to Bitcoin, stable coins to Ethereum or whatever startups you use. And then whenever you want to sell your holdings, you sell them into stable coins. The other option is just a CBDC or the US dollar, which is available on exchanges, but that goes against the whole concept of crypto, of being decentralized, of not depending on the big banks, the big players. And you cannot be decentralized without the existence of a stable coin, and preferably, I'm going to say the words, I'm going to utter them, an algorithmic stablecoin. But that's still a dream. That's technologically not possible. What's an algorithmic stablecoin? It's one not backed. So right now, USDC and USDT, a stablecoin is backed 1-to-1. So for every USDC issued, there's a dollar sitting in a bank, including Silicon Valley Bank that collapsed. They had $3 billion in Silicon Valley Bank. Luckily, they got backstopped. One of the CBDCs got hit hard, dropped by almost 10% because of more than 10%. It dropped. It's a stable coin. It's not meant to drop because of Silicon Valley Bank. It shows again the risks of centralization and the risks in the banking sector. Algorithmic stable coin is one that does not depend on that. We won't talk about how it works technologically. It's too complicated even for me. And it's failed, Luna being the best example, how it failed in a tremendous way.
Okay, so why would they then be targeting these stable coins if you're saying that it could be that they're just targeting stablecoin and not crypto in general? Although I will say that it does look like they're maybe targeting crypto in general, because when buyers came through for Silicon Valley Bank, for example, they said, okay, you could take everybody except for the crypto businesses. You're not that we're going to cut them out entirely. Unless those crypto businesses were specifically only stablecoin businesses, I'm not sure. You would know better than I do. So, what makes you think? What is it about stablecoin that the regulators would say we don't want this?
Well, it serves the purpose of what a CBDC is meant to serve. I don't think. Look, I'm usually the optimist, and that's why I get things wrong. Whenever something happens, I'm like, maybe it's not that. Let's not come to conclusion. I'm that guy in the back. I was like, let's all go crazy. Relax, everyone. I do that in my shows all the time. People hate on me for it because I'm always, I always try to see the good in things. And last year, I've just been wrong so many times. So, looking at Operation Choke Point, um, look, I would not be surprised if they're targeting Bitcoin. It makes a lot of sense. They don't want, so governments want you to use the currency they create, because
Right.
it allows them to have a certain level of control, but it also allows the system to operate. And it allows, so a level of control is good and bad. I don't need to explain why it's bad. It's good because it allows them to manage the economy. If inflation picks up, they've got quantitative easing. So quantitative easing, quantitative tightening allows them to control inflation, allows the economy to keep humming along. On the other side, they've been doing a pretty bad job. Maybe with a decentralized, if the value moves off fiat money and moves into a decentralized stablecoin, moves into Bitcoin, it's an experiment. If it works, great, but it's an experiment that scares those regulators. I don't blame them for taking action. If we see action against Tether and see how extreme it is, the argument of whether there's an operation against crypto or stable coins is kind of moot now. We're past that. But I genuinely look, the amount of I've read you a whole list of them. I'm just gonna be direct. I'm probably wrong on this one. It's probably intentional. It is probably an effort to choke crypto and to move value outside Bitcoin and outside of stable coins, and CBDCs is likely the reason why. I'm trying to say it as nicely as possible. I'd be surprised if there's a better explanation.
They want to be able to control the money, and they don't like that there's all these other currencies that are formulating that they can't really fully control. Now, what they do though
The
is they
US
say,
dollars, the
go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say the US dollar, there's a whole military to back the US dollar. The
Yeah.
US dollar is America's biggest weapon right now. And it's not, any country would love to have such a weapon, would love to have a reserve currency. Anything that jeopardizes this, like today I read somewhere that there's a few countries there's many countries trying to replace the US dollar, and there's a concerted effort right now of a few countries trying to harm the US dollar's influence as a reserve currency, or its stability. I haven't verified the sources, so I'm not going to talk about it more. But like, there's many countries that are trying to replace US dollar. China's obviously got a few strategies to try to achieve this. Everyone is very, very, very far from achieving this, including crypto. However, crypto's creeping along, and I, I don't blame the US for not wanting their number one weapon to be jeopardized.
Yeah, I agree that the US dollar is not likely to be replaced as the world currency, but I do think that there are some that are potentially going to rival it. That would be like the new Petro Yuan that might be showing up here in the near future and whatnot. So, but I do think the dollar will still remain one of the main currencies that is used around the world globally for sure.
It's
Um,
massive.
and you're right, the US protects that dollar at all costs. I mean, I've been calling this an assassination of the crypto community, the targeted assassinations. But the United States has committed actual assassinations in order to protect the dollar, not just targeting businesses and collapsing businesses, but actually taking out world leaders that potentially even want to go after the dollar in some way, shape, or form. So, but what they're trying to claim, and this is the last thing I really want to ask about, is the claim from the regulators is something you mentioned. You said, well, the crypto community is filled with corruption. There's crime happening, and so we've got to crack down because there's criminals that are using crypto. They're evading laws like U.S. laws. That's what they're going after Binance for, willful evasion of U.S. laws. So what is the reality of this? I mean, I myself hold some crypto. I'm not committing crimes that I know of. I'm sure they always target you and try to come up with something. But I think a lot of people are just using it because they're wanting to get away from that centralization of currency, not because they're wanting to commit crimes. But what is the actual prevalence, would you say, of criminal activity happening in the crypto space?
This is why you've seen me hesitant. I'll be very honest with you, and I don't care if people in the crypto space don't like this, they probably will agree with me. There is a lot of crime, and it's a very, very, it's a wild west, but it's improving. The internet was the wild west in its early days, and FTX was one of many examples of that. Now, in many cases, regulators are to blame for this, because there's someone that tweeted, I can't remember who it was. They're like, we keep asking regulators for clarity, for legal clarity, because the crypto space, a lot of people want to do the right thing, but they just don't have clarity from the SEC and other regulators. So they're like, we keep asking for years. We kept asking the SEC for clarity. Give us clarity so we can follow the rules. Give us clarity. And now they give us clarity with a gun to our head. So regulators had the chance to put in a framework to avoid where crypto is today. They didn't do that. Now, I don't want to sit there blaming them. I don't know what resources they have, etc. But to look at crypto and say the crypto deserves to be choked just because of some of the bad plays doesn't make sense. Putting Kraken and Coinbase and USDC in the same basket, and Paxos in the same basket as FTX and as the other small scammers here and there, it makes no sense. Putting USDC in the same basket as Luna makes no sense. So while there is scammers, these are being targeted, like the influencers. Some of them, not all of them are bad, but some of them being targeted. Some of the players being targeted. Scammers getting caught. So I like to see that. I like to see the SEC catching those guys. But when I see the innocent, people like Coinbase, people like Kraken, and Binance today is not what Binance was back in 2018, 2019, and we all knew they made mistakes back then. I didn't know how they were that bad. That surprised me. But we all knew they made mistakes. And we're about to see if these allegations are true or not. But they're doing the right thing now. They're trying to follow the rules. So if regulators genuinely want to clean up the industry, I don't know why they're doing it this way, because this is not the way to do it. This is not what they did in '08 when the global financial crisis messed up bad, and then instead they put in a framework to try to avoid it from happening before. They bailed out the system and put in a framework that had has actually improved the banking industry, not as much as it should have, but it did either way. They're not doing that in crypto. So let's just see. Oh, the next 6 months are going to be crucial. Either we're going to see crypto hurt by regulators and Bitcoin will likely benefit and other cryptos will take a hit, especially Ethereum, or we're going to see regulators, they've they've proven that they trying to clean up the space after FTX. They've Politicians managed to impress voters, and now they're doing the right thing. I really hope this is what happens, but time will tell.
You're the you're the optimist. Look, I'm sure that there's plenty of corruption and crime that happens in the crypto community, but I don't know how that's much different than what happens in the fiat dollars or any other currency. I mean, murders are plotted, crimes are committed, laundering happens, taxes are evaded. I mean, this happens all the time in the fiat world. So I don't really honestly know the difference. You could put a hit out on somebody and pay them in dollars. I mean, most of them are paid in dollars and not in crypto. Most of the terrorism that's financed around the world is done in fiat money, not in crypto. The vast majority of crime is committed in fiat money, not in crypto. So I understand them targeting and saying, well, but it's riddled with corruption and crime. But so is every other payment system on earth. Otherwise, we wouldn't have crime at all if that were going to be the argument. But Mario, I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to explain this. This is a very complicated situation. Most people don't understand it. But it's good to get somebody with so much expertise talking about this. Where can people find you? You do host the largest spaces on Twitter. You've had many big names that show up to your spaces, thousands of people. And sometimes these spaces I've noticed are like marathons where they last 10, 12, 15 hours, which I don't know how you have the energy to do it. But you seem energetic enough. So where can people join in and find you?
Just Google my name, you'll come up on Twitter, and you can enjoy those marathons. Otherwise, Kim, it's a pleasure to come on your show. I've actually stopped doing all interviews. I haven't done interviews for at least 2-3 months. I've stopped doing events, but I came here. I've got a lot of respect for what you do, so thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much for being on, Mario. Well, now is a good time to maybe consider getting into some gold and some other precious metals. As you've seen the economy just kind of going which way or the other. We don't really know which way it is going. And gold is a very safe bet that has been very safe for a very long time. And speaking of safe, not only is it a safe bet as far as stability, but you can also get a free safe to put all that gold in through Birch Gold all the way until really you only have a couple more days to do this. It's until March 31st. They're running this special promotion for qualifying purchases. You could get a free safe that gets shipped right to your door. And that's where you can actually store all of this gold that you may be purchasing in order to hedge your bets against all of this inflation and against who knows what could possibly happen to your retirement fund. Birch Gold is a really great company that can really help you diversify those accounts. So if you're already in the gold game, Birch Gold is a great company to go with. If you have not gotten into it and you're looking into it, Birch Gold is a great company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Thousands of satisfied customers. Sorry, I looked into this myself to make sure that Birch Gold is a great company. You could get a free info kit, and then a specialist will contact you, walk you through the process on whether you want to get physical gold that you want to put in the safe, or you want to have that physical gold stored for you, and then you could place it in an IRA in precious metals. You can even convert your existing 401k or IRA into that IRA in precious metals. But that specialist is going to walk you through the whole process. They know a lot more than I do. So give them a call, or they'll call you up once you sign up for that info kit. Just go to birchgold.com/Kim and you'll get that info kit and get started on that process of diversifying your accounts so you don't have all of your eggs in the it all in one basket. In the fiat currency dollar that maybe be turning digital soon, you don't have it all in that basket. So birchgold.com/Kim.